ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina, in the area where Benny Parsons grew up. And today, it's the First Union 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race. There's Morgan Shepherd. His work has been completed on his Citgo Ford. Jeff Gordon, he was in 7th position when he came in for his pit stop. There you can see Michael Waltrip also pitted at the top of your screen in the Pennzoil Pontiac.
That should give the lead to Ken Schrader.
Of the year at this point, as we show you a Fram Field summary, 7 cars on the lead lap.
Now race for 2nd place once again. Rick Hendrick had Kenny Schrader up racing for 2nd spot and running 2nd. And here comes Jeff Gordon. He is a lap or so down.
1 lap, yeah, 11.
Champions, and
Jeff Gordon is in for a pit stop. Some tire rub on that car. That stop is completed. Jeff in 10th position.
He was 1 lap down. Now, Bob, he'll be 2 laps down. That's going to put him a little farther back.
We got a spin coming off turn 4, and the caution is out, and Jeremy Mayfield right in the middle of the racetrack now. So far, everybody's missed him.
First Union 400. Terry Labonte leading with 11 laps to go.
Terry Labonte had a close call just a moment ago, and he was nowhere around it. Jeff Gordon had a flat tire up in 3 and 4. I think we've got it on tape. Here he is. The right front tire is flat. Now, if he stops on the racetrack, there's going to be a caution, and that ruins Labonte's advantage. Ooh, he turns in front of those cars. But don't you know Rick Hendrick was on the radio saying, Jeff, get off the racetrack in here now.
Of course, Rick Hendrick owns this car, the 24. He owns the car number 5 that Terry Labonte is driving. So
this is what it looked like from Mark Martin's perspective. We'll see how close it looked to him. It looked pretty close to us.
Yeah, some very evasive action by Mark Martin.
Had to get off the throttle and do some wheel sawing. So Jeff Gordon, because of that cut tire, drops to 16th, 4 laps down. Terry Labonte is 8 laps, 7.5 actually, away from victory here at North Wilkesboro.
Back in 10th spot. Greg Sachs running together. Just a little contact as they came off the corner.
Up on the racetrack a little bit, back in 5th position. And this asked Larry McGrew why the wheel hop. He said, well, Jerry, the air pressure is built up so much in the tires, the cars can get in the hop and skip in the corners.
Rusty Wallace has the lead. Jeff Bodine 2nd. Dale Earnhardt to the inside of Jeff Gordon, who has lost a lap.
The U.S. Air Ford.
Whoa, Sterling Marlin.
And he gets Labonte.
Brett Bodine involved.
Ready. Pulls away.
Sterling Marlin was running in 5th position.
And he's not in a very good spot for all these guys to be racing back, but they don't really Oh, he's not going to pull up in front of him, is he?
Oh, yeah, he did pull up in front of car number 24.
What was the...
Well, now he's going to pull down and promise people he's trying to get to this, but couldn't do it.
Well, Jeff Gordon sure got the worst end of that deal.
Yeah, he really did.
That car is all tore up on the left front.
And the right front, I believe, is torn up pretty bad too, because it's pressed up against the wall.
And the car just won't roll, so it must be some pretty heavy damage. He had the car engine fired, and we see he tries to pull away. The window net goes down, and I guess he's
going to abandon it, huh?
Yep, looks that way.
Boy, tough break for Jeff. He had just lost a lap and was being shown in 23rd position, but...
Here comes Rusty by. He's moving now. We see he just barely... He misses Rusty, but now he decides to go again and just catches Gordon and moves.
Throws it right into the wall. Blocking pit road, and Jeff Gordon is out of the car.
And a disappointed, disgusted young man, and well, he should be.
Yes, he should be. No, great. Here's a replay from the blimp.
Oh, he does get a little tap from Ernie Irvan there.
Yep, Ernie. Car number 28 taps Marlin, just enough to spin him around.
Now we see the contact with the 5 car, and Brett Bodine just barely made contact.
Well, I said John Andretti. I don't think John hit him.
He may have hit Brett, Ned, who was up ahead of him, but I don't think he'd had any contact with Marlin.
Now he finally gets the engine fired again. And he will start to pull away just as Rusty goes by. Our leader will come by. There he comes. He just misses Rusty, just misses Jeff, and boom, Jeff Bodine, and he gets Jeff Gordon.
And Jerry's with Jeff Gordon.
Jeff, you climbed out of the car. We saw what happened. Can you believe the kind of luck you've had? I mean, the car took a heck of a lift.
I mean, this is as bad as it gets. I usually consider myself a pretty lucky guy, but I didn't know what's going on here. I mean, that was very uncalled for. He lost a lap that, there was no reason for him to go, and everybody told me to stay high, stay high. So I went to the outside, and I was trying to get to Rusty to get my lap back. And, I mean, he just pulled right out in front of me, and I drove right into him. I was as shocked to see his car move as probably anybody in these grandstands.
Well, Jeff, we'll know you're going to try to get back in. The car looks like it's damaged, though, pretty severely.
No, I hit his right front with my left front, and, it bent it up pretty bad, but we should be able to get back out.
Okay, we'll let Jeff Gordon go back to the team working on the car, and let's check in with John Kernan. Sterling Marlin is sitting on pit road. The radiator is broken. They also have to put on a new fan blade. He's also talked to the NASCAR official, apparently asking him why he moved up when he did. Sterling explained the situation, and we could not hear what was said. Sterling says the engine is off. They're going to have to change the radiator. The nose was completely stripped away from the car, and a lot of sheet metal damage on the right side. Let's go back to Jerry Punch. Well, here is what's left in the DuPont Chevrolet. Ray Evernham, the crew chief, had told me just prior to the race today, this was a brand new race car. Had not been raced. They were waiting to try to pick just the right track and the right race to bring it out and make its debut. It's a special car. Terry Labonte had a brand new car last week at Wilkesboro, went on to win the race in Hendrick Motorsports. Another brand new car today for Jeff Gordon. The result's not the same, but the car heavily damaged both left and right. They are going to try to fix the car, as you heard Jeff Gordon say, and get him back on the racetrack. Well, they're replacing the radiator, Sterling. What exactly happened out there?
I don't know. We pitted and it was kind of tight, and somebody here had me run the back on me, spun us out. Got stopped, car with the crank, went to take off. Got forward, my foot slipped off the brake, dead brake, and rode forward just enough to catch Jeff Gordon. I hate it for him. Cars was running pretty decent. We just tight trying to get the car freed up. So I spun us out. All
right, well, they've got a lot of work to do, but they will obviously try to get back out onto the racetrack because attrition sometimes plays a key role here at Martinsville. You need to run as many laps as you can.
ESPN Speed World from Martinsville is being brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. By Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. Well, the caution came out for debris, and we had a whole bunch of activity on pit road once again.
And there we see one of the catch cans that the guys use. See the probe that goes in the vent to open it. Oh, and the guy took a header right there.
I hope he didn't hit his head on anything. We have run less than a lap under green. There's the first lap under green. And it's also the cross flags indication from Doyle Ford. We have reached the halfway point. 250 completed, 250 to go. It is Rusty Wallace leading. And while we had that caution period, Jeff Gordon got back in the race.
Because Rusty Wallace has just left the 22 car of Bobby Labonte.
Thank goodness I was able to see it. Looks like right now Rusty might be a little bit quicker. We'll see.
Rusty or whoever's in
or whoever, or Ernie Irvan.
Or whoever.
Yes.
See Jeff Gordon quickly get out of the way and let these guys go and settle it between themselves.
It won't, among those whoever's won't be Jeff Gordon.
No, he had some problems, got caught up in a wreck not of his own making, and what he is
106 laps down, Ned. "25 years ago, deep in the heart of Alabama, they built a speedway unlike any other. Her steep banking invites cars to the unforgiving concrete walls that surround her. She has accepted the challenge of the best, but only twice could the king raise his specter over her. Richard Petty remembers how NASCAR Winston Cup racing used to be, when the driver was called upon to do more than just steer the car around the tri-oval. We all remember the drivers who lived with Interstate and established a group led by Bobby Allison called the Alabama Gang. Now a new generation of drivers and owners seek a spot in the history books, and for some a chance to rise to the level of the original members. In her 25-year history, the sport has changed so much. The racing has evolved, and so has the work on pit road.
Camera inside Jeff Gordon's DuPont Automotive Finishes car, looking at his teammate, Terry Labonte. There he is. I'm impressed with how quickly that the 77 car, DK Ulrich, Greg Sachs, they put this team together. This is a brand new team this year. Look at Jeff Gordon. I mean, this guy, his second year, and how can you argue with the job he's done? Starting 40th year, he is where, 4th?
Yep. All the way from 40th starting position.
Jeff Gordon said his car would not lead very well. He could follow, but we'll see what happens if he should get in front, if it was telling us the truth or not.
His in-car camera.
And once again, we see not much effort. Get that car to go through the corner.
Through that steering wheel very much.
Look at him waving. What's this all about?
I guess he was, I don't know,
Probably waving to Spencer to either stay behind or whatever, because that 5-car pack is about to break away from those behind them, and so it would be to their advantage to stay together and run a single file.
There's the rear shot out of Jeff Gordon's car. Looking back at both of his teammates. We've got all three of Rick Hendrick's cars in that one shot. The camera on Gordon's car and Labonte and Schrader right behind.
They're running 2nd, 4th, and 5th. It is now Jeff Gordon battling with Dale Earnhardt, and again the Hendrick cars are right up there, 1st, 3rd, and 4th.
Terry Labonte and Kenny Schrader, the other two besides Gordon.
I'll tell you one thing, you just can't tell much by qualifying here at Talladega, because you wouldn't have looked at the qualifying order and said that Hendrick cars would be in this position 65, 66 laps into the race.
Especially Jeff Gordon, who was really sweating yesterday in the garage area after he only made it into the field as the slowest qualifier in 40th position. Here's Dr. Punch.
Gentlemen, I asked Ray Evernham, the crew chief for Jeff Gordon, just about that same question a minute ago. He said, you know, at Hendrick Motorsports, we may sacrifice a little bit in qualifying, but we build our cars with a little added downforce so they will drive very, very stably in heavy traffic and handle the air. We know our drivers are very good in the draft, particularly Jeff Gordon, so we figure if our car is stable, if we can get in the field, which they barely did here at Talladega, the car will come to the front in a hurry because we can drive it anywhere. I think they've proven that out here right now.
He hit the nail on the head with that prediction, that's for sure.
And I had the nerve to ask Ray Evernham last night what was wrong with his car. And he shook his head and said, I don't know, just won't run. See Jeff Gordon go through the corner, and we can see.
This lithograph and many other items will be available to you following today's Winston Select 500 from Talladega. NASCAR Shop Talk here on ESPN with our special guest, Jeff Gordon, driver of the DuPont Chevrolet. Hope you can join us.
Jeff doing a fine job on the racetrack. He's in 4th position right now. Well, we have had a major crash here at Talladega right in front of us, and The car that gave us the biggest scare was Mark Martin, and we can only breathe a sigh of relief to see him get out of that thing, because he was without brakes and went a long way, hit 2 guardrails in the process, and finally came to rest against another guardrail and a catch fence. Others involved include Todd Bodine, Jeff Burton there in the number 8 car. Boy, let's take a look at what happened.
Here we see Todd Bodine. He's going to be involved. Now, Jeff Gordon comes down. They're going to get 3 abreast, and Todd Bodine doesn't know that. He gets touched by the 77 car of Sachs. He goes down, hits the 24 car. Sachs, the 8 car, spins, and look at all these cars behind. They got no place to go. Watch Mark Martin. He's hit someone. He has no brakes.
Hits the inside retaining wall, and then he goes out of the picture, but he goes through another. We'll see it here. Now watch him. He hits the inside retaining wall. That's the car up in the middle of your screen. Hits the Die Hard 500 sign. Shoots through a guardrail right here. Goes right on through it. Mows it down. Still at top speed, and hits another fence and then the guardrail, and finally comes to rest.
He had to be going 100 miles an hour when he hit the end of that guardrail and then went over to the second guardrail, where he finally came to a stop.
That was a wild ride, and thank God he got out of there.
Man, oh man.
There are only 2 cars here in front of us that appear to be disabled besides Mark Martin. That's Bodine and Burton, and there was Mark Martin getting out of the car. He appears to be injured, possibly a little bit, but certainly good to see him get out of the car. Let's take a look at it again.
There we see Todd Bodine. He gets clipped by the 77 car. He and Jeff Gordon get together, and then now there's no place for these other guys to go. Rudd's involved. There we see Rudd going, and maybe he didn't have a whole lot of damage, but man, I tell you, Mark Martin looked like he's running 200 miles an hour going through.
I'm telling you, he
didn't
sure
slow
did.
down a lot.
Well, you remember Todd Bodine and Jeff Gordon were involved in incidents together at Daytona, and they have met again. The roof flaps on Jeff Gordon's car deployed.
Knock him back down.
Now this ought to be a real shot. How did that camera live through all that? And look.
Darrell Waltrip drove through it.
That Darrell Waltrip's got to be the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Here it is from above.
Oh, Jeff Gordon, nowhere to go. Look at Darrell down there.
There's Mark getting hit.
Twice.
Yeah.
He barely misses Darrell. Whoa, man. He couldn't have missed Darrell 2 inches. We see Rudd spinning down through there. Loy Allen. It's a black car. Is that 12?
Yes. Check that out.
And now we're going to be able to see Mark across that road and into the guardrail and catch fence. And hats off to everyone who works on the technical crew of ESPN Speed World. And they go to work on Jeff Gordon's car now. For those of you who visit your local racetrack and you often hear the PA announcer say, please get back away from the fence, that's the reason why. And John Kernan is with Mark.
Mark has been checked out in the infield care center. And Mark, that was one wild ride.
Winston Select 500, they continue to work on Jeff Gordon's car, trying to get him back out there to complete as many laps as possible, but he was involved in the incident. Now, we did get a shot from his in-car camera of what happened. John Kernan is with Todd Bodine. Jerry, what do you know about this?
Well, Bob, we're standing by with Jimmy Johnson, who is the team manager for all of Hendrick Motorsports. And Jimmy, fortunately, you've spoken with Terry Labonte on the radio. He is okay, number one.
Yeah, Terry's fine.
What happened down there?
Well, Terry asked on the radio, he said, who hit me? And from our standpoint, it looked like the 27 car got into his rear quarter panel and turned him sideways, and then all heck broke loose.
Well, fortunately, Terry Labonte is okay, but the crew is taking off back to the garage area. Now, Jimmy will be...
He'll have at least one more pit stop to make. One of those, John Andretti, who was running up there in 12th place, apparently being pushed to the garage area. We understand that he has an engine problem, and Jeff Gordon just went a lap down on the racetrack with his battered car, so there are now 16 cars on the lead lap.
ESPN Speed World at the Winston Select 500 in Talladega, being led by Dale Earnhardt, and looks like we got some deal making going on.
That's Jimmy Johnson, the team manager for Hendrick, with Kenny Schrader, who's running second. He's talking to Richard Childress, the owner of Dale Earnhardt's car. John Kernan, what are they talking about?
Well, what they're talking about is pitting together, but I don't know if Earnhardt's team is going to want to stretch it as far as Ken Schrader may stretch it.
And there's Spencer trying to take the lead.
And he's going to take the lead into turn one. Jimmy Spencer passes Dale Earnhardt. Jimmy Spencer, 26th in the point standings coming in. They lap some slower traffic. Ricky Rudd and Jeff Gordon. Terry Labonte.
After watching this, Butch Gilliland, the West-to-West driver that was the top qualifier, makes an unscheduled pit stop. And for the late speed fans, he's back out on the racetrack, running slower, but at least he has the qualifier car back out there. Saw some smoke off the right front of Jeff Gordon's car. I guess that was the brakes as he went in that corner and hit the brakes.
The Save Mart Supermarkets 300 at Sears Point Raceway in California is under our third full course caution of the day. It is because Jeff Gordon's car has just stopped. Here's Jerry.
Just spoke with Ray Evernham, Jeff Gordon, the crew chief, who said he thinks that Jeff's not really sure. He thinks it could be the rear end, it could be the transmission, whatever. The car just stopped pulling, and that's why Gordon pulled the DuPont Chevrolet off. Now, Ricky Rudd has had more problems since the last time I spoke. He just radioed the crew and said, I now have only rear brakes. I have no front brakes at all, so they're prepared to work on that car. And by the way, Ernie Irvan just radioed his crew and gave him a challenge. He said, guys, this time I want to beat the 3 car out of the pits. I don't want to pass him again on the racetrack.
Okay, well, we
stop in order to get up near the front.
We'll have an update from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway while we are under caution. Then we'll be back with more of the Save Mart Supermarkets 300.
We're back live at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Dave Despain with Derek Daly, and the activities here have just been interrupted during practice by a major crash involving Scott Goodyear, second in the closest Indy 500 finish ever back in 1992. And we'll take a look now at the tape and see how this has happened. No word yet on Goodyear's condition. He lost the car in turn 4, Derek.
And this is, we've seen this before, when a driver pushes the car over the limits. He loses it, tries to catch it, very hard impact with the inside wall, then he clouts the guardrail on the outside, and look how far down the pit lane Scott Goodyear slides as pit crewmen and USAC officials just scatter. Now, Goodyear was not moving in the car. They lifted him from the car. But as of now, we do not have a report on his condition.
Marty Reed is at the hospital, and as soon as information is available about Scott Goodyear, we'll be passing it on to you. Scott Goodyear crashing coming off turn 4. The widening of pit road perhaps helping here a bit as Goodyear's car avoided all of the people on pit road. But it was a frightening moment. We'll have an update as soon as we have a condition report on Scott Goodyear. Let's go back now to Sonoma, California, and the Winston Cup stock car action with Bob Jenkins.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. That's a very vulnerable area of the racetrack there in Indianapolis. Mark Dismore and Kevin Cogan have had bad crashes in that same area. We hope for the best for Scott Goodyear, and we will, of course, keep you updated from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here is John Kernan with Jeff Gordon.
Well, the Ray Evernham crew is working. They checked the axles. They're looking now at the rear end. Jeff, the car just quit pulling on you?
Yeah, you know, I was going up through the gears, and you know, it might, I don't know exactly what it was. I mean, it stopped pulling. I heard a bunch of things break, and you know, I just pulled it off to the side and shut it off and wait till we get back here to fix it. But had a good run going today. You know, that's what we needed. We need a nice, consistent run today and a finish. And, you know, we're just not getting the breaks, not getting the luck. We're running good, but it's just not all coming together.
Well, better luck next time. Jerry?
30 cars on the lead lap and 4 cars that only are 1 lap down.
I will tell you, folks, I just saw Jeff Gordon go by again, so he is back on the racetrack.
Yes,
several laps down.
He came out during that caution period.
Car number 24, who's had problems earlier, spins again here at Sears Point Raceway. He gets the car started and will probably be on his way. Meanwhile, right side tires going on the 2,900 RPMs in second gear. That's what he has to watch. The tachometer does not want to speed on pit road penalty.
Yes, it says Ernie Irvan right in front of Eddie.
Yep, comes through, and I tell you what, the car has just been so good through this corner. Comes off the corner, accelerates, doesn't slip the back end. Larry McReynolds, Robert Yates, this entire crew has done a great job getting this car ready for Sears Point.
22 cars are in the lead lap. Sears Point record 21 in 1990 and 92.
Joe Nemechek goes by, Chuck Bound. There's Mike Wallace, and finally comes Jeff Bodine, the X-Side battery car.
Jeff Gordon in the pits for a few laps. He's 12 down in 36th position.
By the way, there's a young man waiting up on stage for you, little Richard Herron. You met the other day. You told him to come share victory lane. They just put him up on stage in his wheelchair, smiling. He's in tears, waiting for you to come up and visit.
I told him, I said, we make it to victory lane, you're coming with us. And he's, nah, you won't do that. I said, yeah, really, man. Come on in with us. And, you know, it just makes us realize that we're very fortunate to be able to walk and do everything we do. And he's not as fortunate, but today he's fortunate. He's in victory lane in a Winston Cup race.
When you're sitting down talking to everybody means a lot. But for Joe Nemechek, this means that he can run.
They have fired the engines for the Winston Open. 36 cars, 6 will transfer into tonight's main event. There's the field. Here is your starting lineup, brought to you by Sears Die Hard. On the pole, Joe Nemechek, a record 181.5, breaking Alan Kulwicki's mark from 1992. Ward Burton, first front row start for the freshman from Virginia. And right behind him, brother Jeff, ran 4th at Atlanta in March. Rounding out the front 4, Greg Sachs, who finished 3rd in this race 2 years ago. The 5th starter will be Brett Bodine, who finished 2nd in the 1989 Open. And 6th, remember last year's sensational run for rookie Jeff Gordon, led this race until he crashed. 7th, watch Rick Mast, who has 2 top 5 finishes in this race. Loy Allen, pole winner at Daytona. Todd Bodine makes his first start in the Open, and Harry Gant in the Open for the first time as well. Wally Dallenbach, an impressive 4th last week at Sears Point, and Bobby Hamilton, 5th in this race in 91. Sophomore from Texas, Bobby Labonte, and Rich Bickle, first start since Darlington. Chuck Bound and Billy Standridge in row number 8. Ken Schrader, way back in row 9, finished 2nd in this race last year, and Jeff Purvis out of the ARCA Series. John Andretti with a busy week between here and Indy, and rookie last year's Busch champ Steve Grissom. Dick Trickle back there with Hut Strickland, who finished 2nd in the Open in 92. And you heard from Jimmy Spencer, who hopes to work his way into the Winston Select. And Jimmy Hensley makes his 2nd start in this race. Derek Cope won a Daytona 500. Ted Musgrave 6th last week at Sears Point. Michael Walter, 2-time winner here, and Jim Sauter, the IROC test driver. Dave Marcus with a new sponsor this week, and Ken Bouchard, Rookie of the Year.
Jerry O'Neill from New York State, and Mike Wallace, double duty. He'll race Nazareth, PA tomorrow. Kirk Shelmerdine makes his first Winston Cup start, and Jerry Hill from Maryland. Norm Benning makes his first start in '94, and Jeremy Mayfield, who crashed in qualifying, scheduled for the final spot in the field.
Jeff Gordon told me, keep your eye on me. I think I'm going.
Jeff Gordon in number 24, the DuPont car. Brett Bodine in 26, Quaker State. They are the first cars in this race on Goodyear tires. The front four right this moment on Hoosier. Second place,
Boy,
Jeff Gordon.
One thing about Jeff Gordon, if he tells me it's going to rain, I'm going to get an umbrella, because I tell you what, he's on the move here, folks.
Jeff, don't call me Flash Gordon. In number 24, the DuPont Chevy, Ray Evernham, the former modified racer. His crew chief and mentor, Rick Hendrick, owns that car. Up front, the Jasper Engines, U.S. Air Force, Greg Sachs.
Boy, that's two good ones there. That's two forces on the racetrack right there. Greg Sachs is as brave as anybody alive, and Jeff Gordon is also. So this will be a fight here.
Down to the bottom comes Jeff Gordon. He takes the lead. And puts Goodyear out in front of Hoosier in the tire battle for the moment.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. It didn't take them a whole lot of time to get by. I thought they'd run side by side for a little while.
Battle for second on their speedway.
In just a few minutes, we'll get a shot of the front of Jeff Gordon's car. Somehow he has bent the front spoiler back on that car. You see it coming out of the corner here. The whole nose is caved in on the right-hand side there. He's either hit something or somebody, and it's really messed up the aerodynamics on that car. He'll probably develop a push. You see how high he's running on the corner instead of down on the white line like he was a while ago? Man, that's a bad break right there.
Second, third, and fourth here.
As he'll probably win the race up there. But anyway, that certainly don't help the front end on that car to stay down where he wants to. See it going up there? Of course, he's passing the car.
Green flag to restart this race with 28 laps complete. It is Dave Marcus on the point. Kenny Bouchard did not pit. That red car of his on the inside is second, and here comes Joe Nemechek in 41. And oh,
man,
that's Jeff Gordon. When Nemechek checked up, Gordon was right on him.
Well, that's as close to a wreck as you'll see without actually seeing the sheet metal fly. I'm going to tell you right now, somebody made a quick decision to do the right thing then. You know, the main thing is, I really think he's going to be all right. We're real concerned, but I'm sure he'll be okay.
And we'll get an update as soon as we can. One fellow who's done quite well in this race thus far, as you watch Dave Marcus's car go off on the hook. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, you can see the work being done on the front of Jeff Gordon's car. Remember, we showed you that he had caved the front end in. Ray Evernham and crew are taking this opportunity to repair that car. Now, under Winston Open rules, you can work on the car under red flag conditions. That's what they're doing. They're repairing that aerodynamic damage now. Jeff Gordon, you've been on a rocket ship. Man, this thing is really running.
Well, it was running until I hit that piece on the back straightaway. You know, I don't know what it was, but I knew it was pretty heavy. And when I hit it, the car immediately started pushing really bad. So, fortunately, we got that last stop to pull it out a little bit. And, you know, even though that's a bad accident, we don't like to see that. You know, it's working well for us. We get to fix this front end, hopefully, and maybe the car will be as good as it was at the start.
Well, you had the thing. You'd put it out front then on that restart. You think you can get back there?
Well, you know, I tell you that the car is working real well. You know, these guys have done a good job of working hard all day to get to run this good, but it starts out real good. Let's see what it does after about 15 or 20 laps.
I see a little more patience in Jeff Gordon this year.
Well, I feel like I'm driving as good or better than I've ever driven before. We're just not getting the break. So maybe this is one of the breaks that we needed tonight and get us into that Winston.
Well, I think at the rate he's going, he has a really good chance of getting there. This is one of the fastest cars out there right now, guys.
And I think, Glenn, you asked the key question about patience. There's Ray Evernham lying on the ground supervising the aerodynamic repair. Jeff Gordon is a not just much more experienced, but he seems like a much sharper, smarter, picking his chances driver than he was a year ago.
He is absolutely, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get back from break.
More from Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night after this.
You know, Mike, you asked me a question about Jeff Gordon and how well he's doing with everything this year, and he has so much more maturity, and every year he'll get better and better, and when he starts winning, he's going to be a force just like Dale Earnhardt and several other people.
Well, he's putting on a good show of it tonight, buddy. Let's check with Glenn. Then Wally Dallenbach, Ted Musgrave, Jimmy Spencer.
Mike, if you own those two cars, what would your strategy be?
Which two?
The first two. That's both of them are Hendrick's cars. Jeff Gordon.
My strategy, get lost.
Yeah. Hook up and go. Get away from all harm there.
Jeff Gordon has checked out. He has paid the bill. He's gotten all of his frequent hotel points. There he is on the left side of your screen. He's gone to catch the plane.
Yeah, if Hoosiers got an advantage, they better use it now, because Jeff Gordon's the type of race car driver. He does not slack off, and he's looking for that rainbow. I know he wants in the Winston.
I call that a 1.2-second lead, but it might as well be an hour and 2 minutes.
Now, Mike Gamble was smart enough to fix that front end during that red flag there, and that made a big difference. And we'll see where that car is running right now. He's 1 inch off the white line all the way through that corner.
Now, here comes the battle for second behind Gordon. Greg Sachs has it. Ernie Irvan and his car owner Robert Yates in the upper right of your screen. Ernie's wife Kim watching.
Everybody's watching this race because Jeff Gordon kind of just checked out. So we're going to keep our own bubble for a little while here and see what happens.
Yeah, Jeff has really stunk up the show. 6th place is the race. Jeff Gordon, briefly, because he'll get the white flag this time around.
We have a fight for second place. As you see them going in the corner here, they'll come in the frame right here. That's Kenny Schrader and Greg Sachs side by side going in the first corner there.
That's for bragging rights and a bit of money, but 6th place is the one that counts. There's second. On the outside, Schrader. Sachs in third. They will make the show. Then the Burton brothers are 4th and 5th, and now Nemechek is alone in 6th.
I'm going to tell you, if I was Greg Sachs, I'd say, that's okay. I'm in the Winston if I can just hold her straight here, but he's not the type of driver to do that.
Jeff Gordon wins it, and for second place, Sachs. One of your former drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Burton, Ward Burton, there they go for 4th place, and Joe Nemechek will take the final spot after starting from the pole.
Well, Dallenbach did everything he could do. I guess maybe he was tired of it. You notice the car was a little bit loose coming off the corner there. He probably got the right rear hot and couldn't make up the distance.
But Jeff Gordon, who led this race last year until he wrecked out of it, wins the Open.
Can we do it now? Yay for Jeff.
He had a good strong run, and there's Rick Hendrick cars finishing 1st and 3rd.
Battered but not beaten. That's the main thing.
And he'll go on to the Winston Select, which is coming up next. We asked Jeff Gordon this morning, how important is it if you could win the Winston Open tonight?
Oh, I mean, God, I don't even think you can put words into that. You know, it's an unbelievable opportunity and be a chance of a lifetime.
Here are the 6 drivers that will transfer to tonight's main event, the Winston Select, along with the All-Stars already qualified, and Jeff Gordon is the man in victory lane. And it'll be a quick celebration, so he's got to get that car ready for the feature. Let's go down to Glenn.
Well, Mike, we're trying to catch up with Jeff Gordon. Nobody else could, but maybe I can. He's talking to Crew Chief Ray Evernham now. Well, Jeff, you talked to me earlier under that red flag condition. You thought you might be able to do it, but, man, you just left them in the dust.
Well, not exactly. I mean, we're just trying to learn for that Winston. You know, I'm just awful excited to be in it, first time ever, and it's a big thrill. You know, I mean, there's not too many guys that can say that they've been in that race, so I'm awful excited. Even though we had to come through the Open, I didn't wreck. I was out there all by myself this time and didn't put in the fence, so I learned last year, I guess. But these guys, this DuPont crew did a heck of a job. They got us a good pit stop, got us up to the front, and they fixed it there on that red, you know, so that got us back in the race.
You're awfully strong. You think you got the car that can take the Winston Select?
Well, I think the good thing is we've got 50 laps out here now. We know what to do to the car. Hopefully that'll pay off in that Winston. You know, we're going to be able to tune it up a little bit, and I think we got an awful strong car. We'll just have to see. I don't know how strong those guys are.
Well, I think he's pretty strong too. Let's let him cool off a little bit. Get ready for that Winston Select. Randy?
Well, they're rolling out for the big one, folks. This is the 10th annual Winston Select, and we'll be showing you throughout the night some of what's happened in some of years past, like this from 1987. In 1987, the Winston came back to Charlotte. That's been its home ever since. This was the first year with the 10-lap shootout at the finish. Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott got carried up high in turn 4. Elliott responded with a tap, and Earnhardt made his now famous pass in the grass and went on to win the Winston for the first time.